everyone, welcome back. My name is Nathan and this is Toby. And in this video we're actually going to be talking about mushroom circles. So don't worry if you don't know what a mushroom circle is yet. We're going to show you in a second. But this video is going to cover some of the really important points when it comes to doing mushroom circles. We're going to cover specific strength exercises and areas of strength in your body that you need. We're going to cover the different support holds and positions that you need to practice, different drills, and then we're actually going to try and attempt a circle. So Toby here has never actually done a circle before, which is really exciting because that means I actually get to teach Toby a circle at the same time as you also learning. So that's pretty exciting. So just a full kind of disclaimer, this video assumes that you have zero experience with circles. So if you've never done them before, if you don't know what they are, that's absolutely fine. You'll also notice that we're going to be using a mushroom or a buck. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that you probably don't have one of these at home. That's okay. This video is just a great starting point so that when you do come into the gym, you'll be ready to start mushroom circles. Okay, this is what we're going to be doing today. So I'm just going to demonstrate 5 circles for you. Take a look. Great, so now that you've seen that demonstration, we're going to get stuck in, do a little bit of warm up, make sure our wrists are nice and warm and stretchy before we start doing anything. So let's get stuck into it. Okay, we're going to do a really quick warm up before we get stuck in. So if you'll just copy me, we should be a little bit warm after this. Let's go, Toby. So we're going to start with jumping back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, side to side, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and star jumps. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, turning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and rest. Running on the spot. Keep going, keep going, keep going, and rest. All right, nicely done. Okay, we're now going to warm up our wrists a bit. As you're going to see in a second, mushrooms involve a lot of wrist bending, okay? So we need to warm these up so we don't hurt ourselves. First thing we're going to do is jiggle the jelly. Look at this. Are you jiggling the jelly?
Yes, I am.
Fantastic. And go the other way. So before I was going this way, now I'm going to reverse it. Fantastic. Okay, now we're going to push, push. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and up now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fantastic. Now some waves. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fantastic. Okay, great. We're now going to get onto the ground. So, first thing is placing the hands in front of us. Point the hands slightly out. We'll talk about this more later. And we're going to do circles with our shoulders. When you're doing this, I want you to push down on your hands. You should feel a stretch in your wrists. As you go all the way around, you should feel your wrist stretching in different directions. And the other way. Good. Okay, now we like to call this one pancake. We're going to put our hands together, turn to the side, and then just press into the ground with straight arms. And the other way. So all I'm doing is flipping my hands over, and push, and again, and push, and again, push. Good. Shake the wrists. Last one. Toby, if you could face sideways for this one. Thanks, mate. All right, we're going to put our hands underneath with straight arms, and we're going to sit on our hands. Then we're going to rock from side to side. Should feel the weight of your body kind of just squashing your wrist a little bit, massaging your hands. If you want, you can flip your hands over. Fantastic. Okay, great. And standing up. Give them a nice shake. All right, and we'll see you in the next section for a little bit of strength. Fantastic. Okay, now that we're a little bit warm, we're going to get stuck into some strength now. Now, just some really kind of brief explanation on why we're doing these exercises. You would have seen in that demonstration earlier at the start of the video when we did that mushroom circle, that you actually need to be quite strong in supporting. Being able to support your body on your two hands as your body moves around the mushroom is really important, okay? And so that's what all of these different strength exercises are going to aim to address. Specifically, as well, you also need to be able to have strong wrists. So as well as these exercises, there's a little bit of wrist conditioning that's involved if you want to start to get good at circles. Very common injury with doing mushroom circles and circles on an actual pommel horse with handles is wrist injuries. There's a lot of gymnasts who will complain, oh, my wrists are getting sore, and often that's because they haven't been taking care of their wrists properly. So that's kind of the fundamentals. Hand in hand with all of that kind of goes core strength. So being able to keep your body nice and stable and strong as you kind of swing your body around is also really important. So what are some exercises that you could potentially be doing at home? So the first one is going to be a wheelbarrow walk. Now you would have seen Andrew and I doing this, or Andrew and Toby doing this in previous videos. So it's probably nothing too new to you, but we'll just briefly explain it anyway. Toby, if you could come over here, mate. So all we're going to do is, Toby's going to put his hands on the ground, and I am going to grab Toby just above the knees. That's quite a comfortable position for Toby, and also for me, so I'm not too close to him. And then we're going to walk. Really key thing for me is just to let Toby walk me along the floor. Okay, so I'm not pushing him, Toby's just pulling me along. Another really key thing is, you would have noticed, as Toby was walking, he was pushing down on the floor, okay? It's very easy to kind of just start sagging your body. Toby, could you please show us that position again? And just show us a really saggy position. Great, okay? Now this is the temptation, to sag your back, to sag your arm down, to let your shoulders fall back. What we want is for you to push down and develop this strength of being able to support your body weight in this way. So, that's the first one. Second one, and we're going to talk about this more later in the video, is support positions. So there's actually 4 that we're going to focus on. We'll do this together, Toby. So, the first one is going to be front support. Now, in the past, you would have seen us teaching you to do front support with a nice humpy back. Toby, show us a humpy back. Right? And low, and a straight body. Right? What I want you to do for mushroom circles is, I actually want you to lower your hips a little bit, but still keep this back hump, okay? The lower your hips, the better. The reason being is, circles need to be nice and low and flat. As well as that, if you can lean forward a little bit, that's even better. Okay, so Toby's a little bit new to this. That's not super easy for him. Just go as far as you can. Okay, so that's the front support. Next one is going to be side support. We're just going to show you one because, yeah, the other side is exactly the same. We're going to do side support. So side support, really important with this one is a straight body as well. And I want you to make sure that your shoulder is directly over your hand, okay? One of the common mistakes with this position is having the hand out here, and then your shoulder is missing the hand. Can you see that? Okay, so shoulder directly on the hand, chin up, and chest out. Another common mistake is folding up like this. So we don't want this. This is not a good position to be practicing for mushroom circles. And the final one, Toby, if you could face that direction. We're going to be doing rear support. So, really important with this one. Hands down and pushing the hips really nice and high. Okay, now when you're doing these, this position specifically, if you can lean back a little bit. So Toby, if you could lean back a little bit. So hips up. So can you see how his body is actually leaning over his hands a little bit? Okay. What that's going to do is turn on these muscles at the back of your arms. That's really important for training this position. Okay. So strengthen all three of those positions that we just showed you are all going to be really important. Now, if you'd like to practice that in your own time, feel free to do so. So I'd recommend maybe doing about 30 seconds of each to begin with, just one after the other. So you can do wheelbarrow walks, you can do each position, 30 seconds, and maybe just cycle through those as many times as you can. I think after a while you'll find that your wrists will start to get a bit tired, at which point just stop, have a rest. Okay, we don't want to hurt ourselves. In this section we're going to be just looking at this circle a little bit, and I'm going to explain some really key points from this circle. Now there's 6 things that I want you to pay attention to. The first being, I want you to take a look at the shape of my body. So as I'm going around, I want you to take note of the fact that my body is really straight. So I could very easily kind of just start bending my body in half at the hips to try and get my legs around faster. That's not going to help me at all. The second thing is, as I go around, can you see how at each part of the circle, where I'm kind of starting from 0 degrees, 90 degrees, then 180, I'm actually going through front support, then side support, then rear support, and then the other side support again. Now I'm not holding those positions in any of those parts of the circle, but I'm passing through them. That's going to be really important for making sure that you're well supported throughout the course of your circle. The next part, the next thing that I want you to be thinking about is, can you see how I'm leaning? So as my legs come around the side, I actually lean in the opposite direction. The reason for that is so that my center of gravity stays on top of the mushroom. Now that's a really big word, isn't it? It's a bit confusing. Basically all that means is, if I'm swinging my legs to the side, I need to lean over the other way to make sure I don't go flying off the side. Next part, my head. So when we're doing circles, we really want to make sure that our head is remaining in a neutral position. Now you can see that my head is going from side to side, obviously, but my head is more or less staying in a neutral position relative to my neck. Okay, so I'm not throwing my head around the place. I'm not going back, forward, side to side. It's staying in the same place, and just my body is moving from side to side. Number 5, my hands. So you'll notice that my hands are turned out slightly. My thumbs are pointing forward, and they're about shoulder width apart. And the final thing is, as I go around, my circle is quite low and flat. One very common mistake when we start doing circles is that people want to jump over, up and down over the mushroom. That's not going to help, because a circle is actually a swing. So you want to swing your body around in a low and flat manner. Okay, so now it's your turn to actually have a bit of a try at these mushroom circles. We're going to walk through this, and if you just want to kind of walk through it with us at home, then yeah, that would be great. So, first thing that we're going to do is Toby's going to have his first kind of attempt at doing this drill. So Toby's going to go onto his knees. The first thing I want you to pay attention to is your hand. So we're going to think about our hand placement. When we put our hands on the ground, we want our hands to be shoulder width apart. So Toby, if you can make your hands shoulder width apart. As well as that, we're going to point our thumbs forward. So if you take a look at Toby's thumbs, you can see that they're both pointing forwards, which means you're actually going to have to turn your hands slightly out. Nice job, Toby. As well as that, you want to spread your fingers. What you don't want to do is kind of have fingers together like this. That will kind of make you less stable as you're doing the circle. So turn out, thumbs pointing forward, spread the fingers, shoulder width apart. Nice job, Toby. Next thing we're going to do is a walking circle. So keeping the hands in this position all the way around, we're going to kind of just walk with our feet in a circle all the way around, as if we were kind of doing it on a mushroom. At each one of these positions that I said that we were kind of passing through as we do the circle, we're actually going to pause for about 3 seconds, practice holding the position, and then kind of continue walking around. So, as we do this, really important point is to not just kind of scrunch up our body and walk with a bent body as we kind of walk all the way around. So you can see Toby doing that here, right? So he's kind of just like going here. Even if he made it to side support, as we've seen, right, he hasn't actually done a circle in this quarter section. When you're doing this, we really need to make sure that we're stretching the body out nice and long. So you can see Toby here, that's perhaps a little bit too arched. Maybe about there, okay? So with nice low hips, we're gonna hold front support for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. And from here, with nice straight legs and pointed toes, we're going to be walking our body all the way around into a side support. Great. When we hit side support, again, making sure the hand's here, on top of the hand, this shoulder. Great. Okay, and walking around. I know that's hard. Good. Okay, and pause. Toby, if you could just stay there and keep your hands in the same place. As in, sorry, just sit down and relax. Great. Okay, now I want you to look at your hands. Toby has just walked all the way around and he's put his hand down. But you need to make sure that your hands are actually going into the same place that they started. What do you reckon, Toby? Do you reckon your hands kind of stayed in the same place?
No, not really. They moved.
That's okay, all right? So this is Toby's first time. It's probably your first time as well. as you lift up your hand and place it down, you want to be placing it in the exact same position as what you started in. Okay, so again, lifting up, holding for 3 seconds. When we do this, nice high hips. 2, 3, and walking around to the next side. So you'll notice we're keeping this hand in the same place, and now we're lifting up this hand. Great, 1, 2, 3, and walking around back to the start. Good. Okay, great. Well done, Toby. Have a rest, have a rest. Okay, so if you're at home, feel free to practice that as many times as you can. That's one of the more fundamental drills for learning how to do circles. Once you're able to support really easily, kind of just walking around, you should feel very, very simple, very easy for your body if you're doing it well, and if you've kind of built up a bit of strength, then after that you can start trying to do circles in the gym. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. That was really fun. Toby's had his first try at some walking circles rather. So well done, Toby. And I hope you at home have also kind of had a go at it, tried it out, and kind of felt those positions for the first time as you walked around. When you come back into the gym, that'll put you in some really good steads for starting some actual circles with a coach. So something that they'll probably get you to start doing if you're really good at that is a quarter circle. So you'll actually have a go at getting onto a mushroom and trying to swing your body around to a side support. So yeah, hopefully you get to try that when you come back to Sydney Hills. Thanks so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure, and we'll see you in the next video.